Hello everyone, welcome back to Jikook Moments. Have you ever felt like you were coming home just by seeing 7 people on one screen? This BTS live broadcast wasn't just an early New Year celebration. It was a gentle reminder of home, of warmth, and of bonds that never fade. Behind the laughter, the smiles, and the light-hearted jokes, there was something deeper. There were hopes for a new year. There was unspoken exhaustion. And of course, there were Jimin and Jungkook, 2 names who, even without sitting side by side, always seem to find each other. This video invites you to dive into small moments that feel incredibly big. From RM's heartfelt words, to a single moment where Jimin's laughter sends him collapsing to the floor, all because of Jungkook's voice. And if you've ever wondered, just how close are they really? Maybe the answer is right here. The BTS live broadcast celebrating the new year early with ARMY once again reminds us why moments like these never get old. Seeing all 7 of them together in one frame always feels like coming home, warm, comforting, and filled with joy and love. The members truly shone, not simply because of the camera lights, but because of something much deeper, their genuine enthusiasm and love for what they do. Their smiles felt different. Warmer, more sincere, and full of meaning. In every laugh and every word spoken, there was hope for the new year, a year they wished to be more meaningful, not only for themselves, but also for us who continue to wait and support them from behind the screen. With sparkling eyes, they shared stories and lightly teased what's to come with the new album. Not much was revealed, and yet that was exactly where the emotion lay. You could feel it. The long process, the sleepless nights, the endless discussions, and the doubts that slowly turned into confidence. The music to come isn't just a collection of songs, it's pieces of their hearts. A body of work born from passion, exhaustion, and dreams they never let go of. Amid that warmth, RM said something that cut deeply. "I hope our company can show a little more love. I know I don't say things like this often, but I hope they can take a little better care of us." Hearing those words spoken out loud was heartbreaking. There was no anger, no complaint, just quiet sadness and a sincere hope to be cared for a little more. He said it calmly, but that restraint is what made it feel so heavy. That moment reminded us once again that they are human too. That emotional support still matters, even for those who always seem strong for others. And in the middle of it all, Jikook remained Jikook. Without trying to be the center of attention, they created a small space only they seemed to understand. Even when they weren't sitting next to each other, the connection between them felt undeniable. There were small laughs that appeared out of nowhere, brief jokes that needed no explanation because they were instantly understood. There was Jungkook's gaze lingering just a bit too long, as if he forgot the camera was still on. There was his shy demeanor slipping through tiny movements, restrained smiles, and the way his eyes always searched for one particular person in the room. We all know why they don't sit side by side. Because if they did, the world around them would disappear. Their focus would collapse entirely into each other, lost in laughter that's too genuine, in tender moments that don't need words. They'd forget to pretend to be calm, forget to keep their distance, forget that what they share always feels too honest to hide. Yet one thing is undeniable, some bonds don't need physical closeness to shine. They aren't measured by the distance between chairs, but by how they find each other in the middle of a crowd. By how a single glance is enough to convey feelings never spoken. By a presence that's always felt, no matter where they sit. And once again, we're reminded that some connections don't need explanations to be felt. Connections that are quiet, deep, and real. At the end of the video, there's one small moment that wraps everything in an unforced warmth. Jimin suddenly bursts into laughter, not a restrained chuckle, but an honest, carefree laugh so intense that he loses his balance and falls to the floor. And all of it happens for one simple reason. Jungkook's voice suddenly changes, imitating Santa Claus as he says, "Merry Christmas." That second felt incredibly human. No stage, no cameras, no idle image to maintain. Just Jimin unable to hold back his laughter, and Jungkook who may not even realize how powerful his voice is to the person in front of him. Jimin's laughter wasn't just funny, it sounded like comfort, like familiarity born from a closeness too natural to conceal. Speaking of that closeness, it's impossible not to think of Are You Sure? A journey that, episode by episode, slowly peeled back the layers of their relationship in the most honest way. Not through grand confessions or dramatic scenes, but through small details that are hardest to fake. That's where we see that Jimin and Jungkook's closeness didn't appear overnight. It's the result of time, consistent togetherness, and a trust that's deeply rooted. In the early episodes, that closeness showed itself in simple ways. How they walked side by side without needing many words, how Jungkook instinctively adjusted his pace to match Jimin's, or how Jimin could read Jungkook's mood just from his expression. Nothing felt staged. Everything flowed naturally, as if the camera was merely a witness, not the reason. As the journey continued, it became clearer that their bond was built on repeated small habits. The way Jungkook always made sure Jimin was okay before thinking of himself. The way Jimin calmly grounded Jungkook, not with grand words, but with a gentle tone and consistent presence. In every episode, the same pattern appeared: unconditional care, protection without being asked, and comfort that needed no explanation. There were quiet moments that spoke the loudest. Sitting together without much conversation, yet their body language said everything. Shoulders brushing, brief glances that signaled agreement, small smiles appearing at the same time. None of it was coincidence. It was understanding shaped by time and shared experience. Are you sure? Never tried to convince viewers with excessive narration. It simply let us see for ourselves. And perhaps that's what made it so powerful. Because real closeness doesn't need to be proven, it's felt. Seen in the way they wait for each other. Seen in how their laughter comes more freely when they're together. Seen in how exhaustion feels lighter when shared. And when we return to that BTS live broadcast, all those small fragments from Are You Sure? Seem to come together. Jimin's laughter breaking loose just because of Jungkook's voice isn't an isolated moment. It's a continuation of a long story we've already witnessed. A spontaneous reaction born from safety, from shared laughter, from a closeness that has become part of their everyday lives. In the end, episode by episode, Are You Sure? Answered a question that never really needed to be asked. How close they are isn't measured by how often they sit side by side on screen, but by how deeply they know each other. And that small moment at the end of the video, the fall to the floor, the simple voice, became a gentle reminder that some relationships never change, no matter how much time passes or how loud the world becomes. Ultimately, this live broadcast, and Are You Sure? As well, never tried to prove anything. It simply showed that there are connections that don't need long explanations. No grand confessions required. Just one glance, one unrestrained laugh, one small habit repeated over time. Jimin's laughter at the end of the video wasn't just funny. It was comfort. And Jungkook's simple voice was home. If you felt the same warmth, if you found yourself smiling without realizing it, or even pausing because you felt understood, then maybe we were all witnessing the same thing. A bond that is real, quiet, and enduring. Thank you for watching until the end. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future Jikook moments. See you in the next video, because some stories are always worth telling again.